All right, everybody. I have a very, very special guest today, Alec Schaal. Alec, how are you doing? This guy, you may have heard of him. He's on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and I'm excited to talk a lot about what he's been talking about today. So welcome, Alec. Thank you for
Thank
joining me
you.
today.
Appreciate you having me.
So a couple things I want to start out with. I was going through your Instagram, and you were on a video with Brent Daniels that said you did $273,000 in 10 months. You have 2,700 Instagram followers. You have almost 20,000 TikTok followers and over 3,000 YouTube subscribers. So you're doing some cool things. So my first question is $273,000 in 10 months. Now, and Brent Daniels posts a lot of these types of videos, and it's cool. But I'm curious, can you break down the numbers for me? How did that happen? Was that your first 10 months in the business?
So it was like my first 10 months after my first deal,
Okay.
Yeah. So it took me 3 months. I mentioned it in the video. So what's crazy is I still remember recording that, and that was like a year and a half ago. It's wild. But yeah, so we recorded that in maybe August. He posted it a lot later than we actually recorded it, but we recorded it in August, which was maybe November or September, whatever. We recorded 10 months into the calendar year. I closed my first deal in January, and then I did that amount that year. But it took me 3 months. So I started in October 2020, and it took me 3 months to actually close my first deal. So including that amount of time, it would probably be around 13 months. No.
Got it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Roughly.
something like that. But yeah.
Is that when you first started to learn about wholesaling, or were you reading about it for 2 years before that?
So I knew about, so a little bit of background on me. My dad works a W-2 job, but he used his W-2 income to buy real estate. So every year or two, he would buy a house. And when I was in middle school and high school, when I was living at home, obviously, he would buy a house, he would go pick up rent, and every once in a while he would bring me, and I hated it. But I saw him doing that, and then he bought all his deals from wholesalers. So there's some really big wholesalers down here. And it's funny because he connected me with these big wholesalers, and now we're doing deals consistently these past 2, almost 3 years. But yeah, he taught me about wholesaling, but I never really was interested in it. And then in 2020 or 2019, I graduated college. 2020, I was unemployed. I'm like, man, I don't know what to do. Nobody's hiring. And that's when my dad's like, hey, listen, you just worked a sales job. I was working in sales. I was in corporate sports. I was selling season tickets and luxury seating. And the sports world shut down. There's no more sports, so there's nothing to sell. So first people be let go are sales guys. So so he's like, hey, you like sales? I was good at sales. I realized that. He's like, why don't you try wholesaling? So I tried it. I started in about September, October of 2020, and cold called for 3 months straight before I got my first deal. But I had exposure to it before, but I never considered doing it. It was just always in the back of my mind. And then my dad kind of hey, you should do this. So I don't know if that answers your questions. I feel like I just rambled there, but
No, it does.
okay.
And what market are you in?
So I live in Fort Lauderdale, which is in the Miami metropolitan. So I'm in South Florida. Yeah. So it's a tough market. I probably did my first 20-ish deals here. I niched myself to just Broward County, which is the middle part. So it's Miami, Broward, West Palm Beach, or Palm Beach County. I niched myself to Broward, and then I grew to Miami and Palm Beach. Now I do statewide Florida. So I just closed a deal yesterday in Orlando. I'm buying an Airbnb tomorrow in Tampa. I do a lot of deals in Tallahassee. I'm actually gonna start in Polk County and Duval. So I do a lot of all over the state now. And I actually don't do as much in South Florida, which is funny because it's just tough down here. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we're just doing everywhere now in the state.
Gotcha. Well, congrats on your first Airbnb closing.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a little nervous, but it's a creative finance deal, so it's on good terms. I'm more happy to go over that too if you wanted to.
All in due time.
Yeah, for sure.
So you posted, I was going through your YouTube channel, and this is how I found out about you. Your most viewed YouTube video has 10,000 views on it now.
The 10,000 now?
It's at
Wow.
10,000, over 10,000. And a couple of things that you mentioned in the video. The video is called "I Wholesaled for 2 Years, Honest Review." So a couple of things you mentioned, I like to talk about them. So you said 2023, you're not finding as many deals as when you got started in 2020, 2021. A lot of people have left the space and have laid off people. There's anxiety, wholesaling real estate.
Yeah.
Everybody has deals going south. Wholesaling is the rat race. You don't know if you're going to even keep wholesaling because you don't enjoy it, or you don't know if it feels right. And you don't know if the guy's posting big checks. You mentioned a guy who posted like a $250,000 check, and that was a hard money loan and not actually any profit. So why did you post that video?
I mean, I feel like video is a little clickbaity at the same time, you know, but it was honestly, it was very like interpersonal at the same time. And that's kind of like what I want to like brand myself as, is like interpersonal. I've done like a lot of TikToks in the same kind of like category of like real talk, like not like guru, like this. I've done some videos like this. Like, I'm not gonna say like, yo, like I did a video about a month ago, this is how I flipped the contract into this $15,000 check, and then I made wholesaling sound easy. But like, my thing is like, I just hate these people that make it sound so easy, you know. And then they're like, yeah, you know, this is how you make $10,000 a month, drive for dollars, find a dumpy house, call the seller, you know, offer them $20,000, you know, when the ARV is 80, you know, and then make $10,000, sell to it. It sounds so easy, but it's not. And like, I'm not like an anti-guru or whatever, but I kind of wanted to like pride myself in not being like that. So I wanted to show like the more real side. So like, I'm pretty good at managing my anxiety now, but like, man, like I've probably my whole life I've had the most anxiety since I started wholesaling. It's just because deals go south, you're not making enough money. Like, there's been times where I can't make payroll, you know, and like, that's real talk. Like, sometimes I can't hit payroll and I have to, you know, go into debt. Like, my bank account's been negative before. And then like, I'll close the deal and it'll be back, right? So it's not always like rainbows and sunshines. And that's kind of why I want to post that video. The only thing I didn't like about that video, and which was crazy, got over 300 comments. I was like, man, like I just posted it, you know, at the time I had mid 2000 subscribers. I got like 300 subscribers from that. That video actually got me monetized too because of the watch hours. I got like 500 watch hours. So now I'm monetized, which is cool. But the one thing I don't like about that video is a lot of people watched it and they commented like, this video made me not want to get into real estate. And like, that's the last thing I want to do. I think maybe I didn't show enough of the positives, because there's negatives, but I still think that the positives outweigh the negatives. I just wanted to show like the real side of it. And like, you know, just give my natural thoughts. Like, that video wasn't scripted at all. Like, I just sat down, I put the freaking camera down, and like, I just like said everything that was on my mind. Like, I didn't script out anything beforehand. Like, I just started talking. I probably spoke for 30 minutes, chopped the video down to 12 minutes, and it was just like my real opinions. And I just like, it was just real talk, you know. But
I think people
I don't,
appreciated that.
yeah. And like, it's like so cool that it resided with so many people. Like, I had so many people DMing me like, yo, that video is like exactly how I feel. I'm like, man, that's crazy, because like, I didn't know like other people felt that way. And then I hope like people watching it are like, man, this is how I feel. Like, I'm not doing deals, like I don't have money, like I have anxiety because of money. Like, money anxiety sucks. Like, I hate money anxiety. So it's like, this is like the real talk, you know, you're not alone. But I just don't like how like it gave this perception where it's like, oh yeah, wholesaling is just negative, get a W-2. Because like, I made a counter video afterwards, like why you should wholesale, and that one got like 1,000 views. And it's talking about like the pros. Like, I would still rather be having money anxiety but wholesaling and having like schedule freedom, you know, going to the gym
Right.
whenever I want, waking up whenever I want, going to bed whenever I want, not working for somebody else. And, you know, maybe be like struggling a little bit than working a W-2 but being miserable. And I've done both. So that's kind of like the backstory of the video. But
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And for anyone who's seen my content knows Tim, gets very excited about stuff like that. Cause that's really the reason why I started my YouTube channel. I know I've sent you a couple, after I watched the video, I was like, man, I love your video here. Watch all my videos,
Yeah.
trashing wholesaling. No,
Yeah.
but yeah, I hear what you're saying about the risk of like people not wanting to do wholesaling after watching your video. I had a podcast as well, a guy named Tag Thompson, and he was like ripping apart wholesaling, ripping it apart for like an hour and a half. And I was talking with a buddy of mine, and he's like, yeah, some of the stuff maybe is true. Maybe some of it was like a bit inflated. And he was like, I don't want people to quit or not do real estate because of it. And I share the same sentiment as you. And the reason I started my channel was I think there's a category, I call them burnt out wholesalers. So people who
Tired
are trying
wholesalers, tired
tired
wholesaler. Yeah,
tired
that's funny.
wholesalers. Exactly. People who either maybe struggling to get their first deal, they've been trying a long time, or
Yeah.
people who have done a couple deals and just are like, it's difficult and it's not as easy as I thought, yada, yada, yada. And the reason like I get the concern that maybe if we post these like quote unquote negative videos, people may not want to do real estate. But to me, I'm like, in the entire context of all real estate wholesaling YouTube, there are 10,000 videos that say the opposite, that say you can do it. So I'm like, look, if these people want proof that they can succeed, they can go watch Brent Daniels,
Brent Daniels. Brent Daniels
95.
is a perfect example. I thought it was the same guy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They can go watch his stuff. So I think to me, the best way is to watch both, is to go watch Alex's video where he's like, man, here's the real truth. And then go watch Brent's video. And then they can maybe find a middle ground. I don't
Yeah.
think anyone is just watching your video and not watching anything else. I think that would be
Yeah,
odd.
I would hope
Maybe,
so. I would hope so. Yeah.
maybe I don't know. But what's the reason why? What's the reason why you started? I mean, you have a lot of followers on TikTok too, almost 20,000. Why did you start posting all this stuff in the first place? Why even start a social media channel?
Yeah, so it's crazy. So I started in March of 2022. That was when I made my first TikTok post. So it's been over a year now. I thought it would be more, to be honest with you. I'm kind of disappointed it's only at 20. But I've had a couple of videos go viral, and it's a lot of dopamine. So that's a good reasoning. It's a big dopamine hit when you have a good video. It's also credibility. I done deals with a lot of followers, maybe like 5 or 6 last year from, followers. Hey, Alec, can you help me with this deal? Sure. Help them with the closing, help them with the dispo, get a portion of it, sometimes 50, sometimes less, like whatever we split, and just helping people. I mean, eventually, like I see it more as like a credibility, like a long-term play. And I think like a lot of people don't look at social media like that, where it's like a long-term play of, I have this credibility now, like when I want to raise private money, which I just did with my Airbnb, I'm like, hey, like here's my social media. It's like I have some kind of credibility, like, okay, like this guy posts on YouTube and stuff, like he has people following him. So he's not just some, random guy in the shadows. So I think that's a good, thing. If I ever wanted to do a coaching or mentorship, like I have people following me so I could pitch it to them. So I think that it's a long-term play as well with that. But it's also just like a credibility, and like if I meet somebody, for example, like we connected because of social media, right?
True.
If I didn't post on YouTube or post on whatever, we wouldn't have connected. So you just meet so many like awesome people through it. I have so many like, TikTok and YouTube and Instagram friends that like live in different areas that like I can meet up with, so so it's just like a long-term play of just like putting myself out there and just building that like personal brand.
Interesting. Do you want to be a big guru one day, 5 years from now?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know about like a guru, but I definitely want to like build like a brand with real estate. I already know that I don't want to stay in wholesaling. I kind of look at it like as different like levels. So it's like, let's say like there's like floors, right? And like the wholesaling floor goes to like here, like maybe it caps out at like, let's say like 40,000 followers, like that's wholesaling. But then like if you want to grow past that, you have to go to the real estate floor, so then that caps out. But then you want to go past that, you have to go to the finance floor. You feel me? So like I kind of think like different floors, so like you cap out the wholesale audience after a while. Like look at Brent Daniels, like he's all wholesale, and like I love Brent Daniels, but he's had like a similar following the whole like the past like year to 2 years, and that's because he kind of capped out that wholesale floor. and he's even more niche because he's in the entry wholesale floor, if that makes sense. So it's just like you got to keep growing. One guy that I look at that like I really like want to build my brand around, and like I recently found him because I'm buying Airbnb, so I've been
Let
watching a
me
lot of
guess.
Airbnb content.
It's an Airbnb. Oh, it's an Airbnb guy. I know there's
Oh, who
a
are you
there's a
gonna
YouTube
say?
guy. Well, I was before you said Airbnb, I was thinking Max Maxwell because he has a big following and he
Oh
does real
yeah, I
estate, but
love Max Maxwell. I like old Max Maxwell. Like his old videos are just gold. Like 5 years ago, like those are just gold videos. Now he's kind of doing more like the podcast because he realized like he capped out this wholesale audience. He's also probably tired of making wholesale videos. So if you watch Max Maxwell videos, they're more like podcast style. It's a different style of video than he did, years ago, because you got to keep growing. But there's a guy, he's a host of the Bigger Pockets too, Rob Built. I don't know if you know
I've heard the
him.
name, but I
Yeah,
don't know too
I
much
love
about
his
him.
YouTube content. So like that's what I want to do. So I'm kind of like want to model my channel off of his, to be honest.
Rob
But yeah,
built
I love that guy. He very
250,000 subscribers. This
yeah,
guy.
great Airbnb content too. Um
Oh, yeah. Isn't he the host of Bigger Pockets?
yeah, he's the host of Bigger Pockets too. Yeah, with David Green.
Uh,
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I forgot what you asked me. I'm sorry, I kind of just went on the ramble there. But yeah, I mean, just to keep posting, and we'll see where it goes. But yeah, I want to be like an influencer,
Cool. How
in
much
the space.
money? You said you're just in partnering with some deals. How much money have you made partnering with other people doing
Um,
Instagram? I guess that's social media profits, I guess, right?
yeah, I mean, probably like 40 to 50,000.
You've net
Uh,
40 to 50,000 dollars just from doing deals with people from all the
yeah,
Instagram and stuff you posted.
I
That's
would say
crazy.
so. Yeah. And
Huh.
it's funny because I'm like, man, where's that money now? Because it just goes into marketing and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I did 50,000, maybe like a $5,000 deal here, $10,000 deal here. I would say probably it's closer at 40, not
Yep.
closer to 50, but yeah, around that
Okay.
ballpark.
Okay. All right. So back to the Brand Daniels thing, gross $273,000 in 10 months, asterisk 13 months because that's when you get started, whatever. Was that gross or was that net? Like, can you break down the numbers, the
Yeah, no, that was
273,000?
gross. That was gross. So that was including JVs and stuff. It was probably, what was it? How much was it? 270?
273.
Yeah, it was probably
Yeah.
closer to like maybe like 170 to 200.
Okay.
Because my first few deals, like I did a lot of 50/50s with like local people that I consider mentors to this day. And like I did a lot of 50/50, 50/50 is in like splitting the assignment fee 50/50 with somebody else. And I did that a lot as like a kind of like a long-term play to, have them like have interest in me. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, I'll split this deal with you. You kind of help me through it, and then like you help me going forward, and it paid off because I'm still friends with these people to this day 2 years later. So not counting that, I would have made it, but I did a lot of JVs, like just trying to build relationships with people that I probably didn't need to, but like I'm glad I did, because like I'm still friends with them. Like like I could call them up at any time, like you know what I mean. So it was probably closer to maybe like 170 to 200, maybe like 70 to 80,000, ninety
But
thousand in
yeah.
JV assignment or JV fees. I also include, let's say I send out a deal for 20,000 and somebody adds 10,000 on top, and I make my 20,000, they make their 10,000, the buyer pays 30 over, and so 30,000, I would count that 10,000 in that 270, if that makes sense. But
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's completely logical. Makes sense. So
Yeah.
if we fast forward, so that was basically most of 2021. 2022, do you know, do you have like off the top of your head what you grossed that year in total in your real estate business?
I was looking at the other day because I've been applying for like a lot of credit cards, not credit cards, more like business line of credits. And it's literally the same, which was crazy. Because I had like double the amount of VAs. It was the same. One thing that I realized, I was like, okay, why is this the same? I also did take on a fix and flip, which would have been probably a 70 to $100,000 assignment fee. And I took it down as a fix and flip instead. So if I did that, it would have been a lot more, but it was about the same. So, let's say I did 300-ish in total assignment fees, and paid more in marketing and stuff. So it was probably in the 300 to 400 range both years.
And what did you, so out of the, okay, last year you net, let's say gross, what, 350 maybe? What do you think
So like the
you,
first year, let's say I grossed like 300, and then last year maybe like gross like 350, but then I'm spending 150 in marketing and payroll and stuff. And then I live in I live in an expensive apartment, so like I have to pay that and stuff like that. So I like the thing is, like, even though like I had a multi six-figure business, like maybe at the end of the year, and this is the thing I hate about wholesaling, and the end of the year, like maybe I'm making, like, after everything, maybe $50,000 $60,000, and my business is doing 400K. And that's just like real numbers, like it's kind of embarrassing to say, but like it is what it is. So
yeah,
this year I'm
so
trying to fix it. I'm trying to get cash flow and stuff like that.
yeah, that's crazy. And I appreciate your honesty, by the way. And I don't think that's, yeah, I think you're not the only one in that type of situation.
Yeah.
And I like to break down. So are you saying that, let's say 2022, you grossed 350? I don't want to conflate numbers here because you're talking about your rent and stuff as well. I mean, that's a little bit separate. Maybe if you're
Yeah.
talking about, so, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I pay myself a payroll. I don't have the exact numbers pulled up in front of me, but let's say like I did 350 in total assignment fees. And that's like, let's say that's gross, another 50 in JVs, so it's 300. And then I'm spending, maybe 150 in marketing, so that's 150 in profit. And then I have payroll, I have to pay contractors and stuff, and then I pay myself a payroll. So I mean, I would probably say like my business made around 50,000.
And then you have your payroll on top of that,
Yeah, and I make
right?
$40,000 a year. Yeah, but
So, okay.
then
So really it's 90, roughly what you like,
yeah,
like your
yeah,
tax return would probably say roughly, assuming you're not doing a bunch of other things, like 90,000 from your wholesaling business, 50
yeah. I
net,
mean,
and then your salary.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, sorry, I know I don't have the exact numbers, but yeah, it would be around there. Yeah. I'm
Roughly.
not I'm
Yeah.
not I'm like the worst like integrator ever. Like I actually hate looking at my like stuff like that. Like it's, I don't know.
Sucks the life out of you a little bit.
Yeah, it really does. Like it does. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I'm having a YouTube video coming out where, have you heard of David Richter? Do you know who that is?
No.
He's, you read Profit First, you know that book?
Um, so like I'm like the worst reader too. I can't sit down and read a book. I don't, but like
Yeah, that's
I've
a no.
listened to
Yeah.
a million podcasts with him guest like talking on it, and like I listened to a million podcasts talking about it, like YouTube videos. So I
Oh,
understand the
okay.
concepts. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. David Richter wrote Profit First for real estate investors.
Oh, I haven't read
Um,
that one. I wanted to
yeah.
listen to that one.
Yeah. It's pretty good. It's roughly, I mean, similar idea. It applies.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think if you're a flipper, definitely is like a lot more helpful than the first one.
sure.
Um, but I'm having a YouTube video coming out where he goes through my P&L and like rips it apart, basically. He's
Really?
like,
That's gonna be a fun video. I'll watch that for sure.
yeah, yeah, that'll be, it's the P&L is a bit of an older one because, to be honest, like I conflate my current numbers. Like my business LLC, because I have a marketing agency, so my marketing agency money and my wholesaling money are under one P&L. And he was like, Tim, you're an idiot. Don't do that. So I need to fix that. I need to fix that. But yeah, it'll be an interesting video. I completely understand that. Yeah, money is thinking about finances. I'm kind of the same. I'm same but different. I'm definitely like an operator type of person. Like I love building process and doing all that stuff, but money is definitely giving me anxiety over the years. I understand it's this business. The cash flow is super up and down, and it can be tough, man. And like, Brent Daniels isn't posting like, hey man, this guy worked 30 hours, 40 hours a week and took home 50K, on an average salary after dealing with all the stress. He doesn't post videos
Yeah,
like that,
yeah,
so but
facts,
that's the
facts.
reality, right?
Yeah. His business did 300K, but you made 50. It's like, fuck.
Yeah,
Like, damn, where did all that money go?
that's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. So what are
Yeah.
you doing to try to solve that problem?
So I'm trying to build cash flow. So I have buying the Airbnb. So that's gonna, hopefully net me around $500 to $600 cash flow, very conservative, hopefully more. And that's a creative finance deal. So I'm trying to get more creative finance deals. That's my goal. Spending a lot more time, calling realtors to get sub twos, because there's a lot of no equity listings out there. So I'm just trying to pick up houses like that. YouTube monetization, that's going to be a cash flow. And then I'm doing I started a new business this year. It's a like a social media agency. So right now we have 6 or 7 clients, and we manage their social media accounts. So we do like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook Reels, and we edit the videos. We tell them what to record, we edit them, and then we also post them. So that's another like side business I'm doing. I have 2 partners in that. Both my partners are integrators, so it works really well, because like I'm more of like the face and like visionary, like selling the vision of the company to clients, and then they handle the back end systems, and I kind of have like a CEO like overseeing role. And that business is a lot of fun for me. Like I love like that side, like the more like creative side of like social media and stuff. So far we've created we have 7 clients. We created 2 new TikToks. So most of our clients already have TikToks. We created 3 new TikToks actually. And one of them's at like 35,000. And we started it like 2 months ago. He had a video get 12 million views. And then another client is at like 20,000, and he had like 3 or 4 back-to-back videos get like over 5 or over 3 million views. So like we've been seeing a lot of success. And then I have another client, his hasn't taken off yet. We're really trying to get it to take off. His has been a little bit more stagnant, but we're working on it. And like that, I like that business. So I'm kind of like rambling about this business, but really my goal this year is to have cash flow. So that's one cash flow avenue, and then rentals and YouTube monetization and whatever else I can do. I'm debating on getting into mentorship, but I don't know if I want to or not. A lot of people ask me.
Gotcha. How much does your agency bring in revenue?
Right now I'm not making any money from it right now. It's just all like staying in the account, but we have plans starting at $800 going up to $2,000 or more, depending
Gotcha.
on
So
like
it's like
how many.
grossing 7K a month or something like that, like between 5 and 10K.
Yeah,
clients
probably.
paying.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the average client's paying us around 1,000. So yeah,
Gotcha.
at least that. And like that business is doing really well. Like it's been doing really well.
That's awesome.
Like it's like a slow grow. Like I haven't been marketing it really. It's just like slow to grow, and just more of like me talking to people. Like all our clients are like my network of like people that I've known for years, like in the real estate community. And
So
it's
they're all
like
real estate.
we have one guy that's not,
What's the
but
12
yeah.
million view? What's the video?
It's a guy named Gustavo Pinheiro, and this was actually my first like local mentor. So I've known him for over 2 years. He was one of the guys I split a couple of deals with 50-50 when I first started, and he bought a house. So I'm like running out of breath. But he bought a house, and he evicted the tenants after he bought it. And this was after like he was going to start with a client for us. He wants to be more on the mindset side. But I went to the house. He's like, yo, you guys see his house? They trashed it. I'm like, all right. So we pull up to the house. It's in Fort Lauderdale. It's close to my house. He picks me up. We pull up to the house, and like, bro, these tenants demoed it, bro. Like they got sledgehammers and demoed this house. I'm like, dude, this is bad. And then I was thinking like, oh, I'll make a TikTok for my channel. Like I know it'll do well. Like it's controversial. Like look at what the tenants did to the house. But I'm like, he's a new client, so let's do it for him. So he goes, I just evicted my tenants. This is how they left it. Have you seen that house? Have you seen that video?
I don't even have a TikTok.
Okay,
So
well, it got
yeah.
like 2 million on Instagram too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
seen it. I'll take a look. I'll look it up.
Okay. And I did another video on Instagram. Sorry, I'm all over the place, but I did a video. So I wholesale this fire damage house to my friend Jason. And I did a couple of TikToks at the fire damage house, and I'm like, yo, like we'll do one for you too. Like, and it's crazy, bro. Like I have such a good vision for it, but I don't do it for myself, which is annoying. So like back to the Gustavo one, and I'm all over the place. So I'm
It's all
sorry.
good. You can
whoever's
be all over
listening
the
to
place.
this.
You don't have to apologize for
Yeah.
it. You keep going.
But back to the Gustavo one, I told him exactly what to say, what to do, everything. He did it. It's literally like me and his body. Like that's essentially how you can think of this video. It's me and his body. He does it. We edit it. we post it. We even post it for him. 12 million on TikTok, 2 million on Instagram, 1 million on Facebook. YouTube was the only one that was a little slow, and that one only got 10,000. We're actually going to repost it because the video is so good. Like if it gets viral on TikTok but not on Instagram, it's like, okay, well, it did good on TikTok, but it went viral on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Like that just means the video is good. It was controversial. And he got 12 million. He has 35K, and it just blew up his channel. It was his like 4th post too. The thing with Gustavo is he sees that post and he thinks all the posts are going to be like that. I'm like, bro, there's people that been posting for years and they never got a 1 million view video. Like, you know, like I had to like humble him a little bit. Like it's not normal to get a 12 million view video. But yeah, I mean, it was really me and his body. Like I told him exactly, I would have recorded that same video. You feel me? And then I did another video for my friend Jason, Jason Abrams. He's on Instagram. And I wholesaled him this fire damage house. It was disgusting. He bought it from me. I made like, you know, 17,000 on the assignment fee, and then he's gonna, you know, fix it, tear it down, fix it, Airbnb it. And I told him exactly what to do for this video. I'm like, yo, stand here, be like, I just wholesaled this fire damage house, or I just spent $200,000 fixing this fire damage house. Like this is how much it costs, whatever. I don't remember what the thing was. And then he would be like standing in the kitchen, and the kitchen would have no roof. New kitchen, $40,000. And then it would be like him in like the patio, like new deck, $10,000. And it was just that. And I told him exactly what to say. I'm like, yo, let's overinflate these numbers so it's a little bit more controversial. And like I told him exactly what to do. And he posted on TikTok, it gets like 10,000, but he posted on Instagram and it has like 4 million on Instagram. And his Instagram went from 800 followers. He was at 800 followers, and now he's at 100K on Instagram.
What?
So like, yeah, crazy,
That's
bro.
crazy.
Yeah. So blew up his Instagram. But yeah, I mean, like I'm like, that's kind of like what, sorry, I don't even know what the question was.
What are we even talking about anymore? Yeah,
But
no,
yeah, it's just like I like that's been the business. So we've had a lot of customer success. Yeah.
so I'm conflicted right now because we got like 30 minutes left. I wish we had like 4 hours, man. There's 2 routes we could go with this. We could go down your wholesaling business route, which is what I usually do, and be like, okay, what does your wholesaling business look like? What are your employees? Blah 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 blah. We could go down that route, or we could go down talking about social media, and I think both of them are really interesting. I think either way, I need to bring you on again to whichever one we don't talk about, because I don't think we have time to talk about both.
Yeah, whatever, bro. I'm down for either way.
Right.
I mean, we could do a little bit longer. I'm going to a real estate meetup at like 6, so I got some time, you know.
Yeah, I got to bounce in 30 minutes, or I would.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
kicking
you got
myself. Yeah, no,
okay.
I'm gonna kick you off, not the other way around. Yeah, so, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, real quick on social media, and then we'll do another episode where we go deep into the social media stuff. I do want to talk about wholesaling.
Yeah, sure.
I can tell you're excited about it. It's funny. I think we're similar in a way because my wholesaling business has gone up and down, and I started a marketing agency because the business model is better in my opinion, and I think you figured that out as well. I think you're like, yeah, this maybe makes more sense and is more enjoyable than I could tell you're talking about. You're excited about it. And I heard Mr. Beast say on an interview, Mr. Beast, I'm assuming.
Of course. Yeah. I love
Mr. Beast. He was like, it's interesting now that because there's long form horizontal video, like YouTube videos we're accustomed to. Now the vertical videos like TikTok, right? And he was like, it's interesting now, if you make a vertical video, you can post the same video and have it blow up on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube Shorts, Reddit. I don't know. LinkedIn maybe is different, but the vertical
LinkedIn and Twitter are different because I was looking on there.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Vertical video. I don't do a lot of shorts. I'm not a fan of I don't like TikTok. The reason I don't use TikTok, I think it's like a little bit too addictive in my opinion. So I agree it's good. And I've been going back and forth of like, should I start making vertical videos? Because you can literally post them on 6 different platforms, and so it kind of is a no-brainer. If you're a social media agency, right, it makes sense to do that. So but here's the thing though, if someone who gets 12 million views, or let's say the guy who gets 100,000 Instagram followers, I mean, are those people that are really going to buy any of his products? Or these are kind of casual watchers who like, ooh, fire damage home, husband, look at this cool fire damage home, or this is crazy. They're not going to be people looking to wholesale, right? I mean, what
Yeah.
percent of your audience is actually going to give a crap about anything that you
Yeah,
have to
that's such a
sell?
good question. I wish I knew the answer to it. I don't, because
Yeah,
it's still so new to us. But I mean,
we'll
I
see.
think like guys like Brent Daniels would probably know, like these like high level guys that have been doing it for years. It's like, hey, listen, like 1% of our audience gets converted to a sales call. Of that, 50% we can close to a course. You know what I mean? I don't know the analytics behind that, but yeah, bro. I mean, what, maybe in a year I'll know. We could regroup in a year and I could give you that data, because
The
a lot of
deets.
our clients are starting to now do their courses and trying to monetize it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I think you should definitely do like the vertical videos. You don't even have to create it. I mean, you already have a podcast. Like, you could clip up this podcast, like whatever good clips are like we talk about on this podcast. Like, you could clip that up and make those into short form content too.
that's true. Say something very clippable that I can take out of context right now. Say something
Oh,
crazy.
fuck, that's a lot of pressure. I mean, like honestly though, like my thing is like, I think with the podcast, with like trying to clip them, is like I kind of like the clips where it's like the middle of them talking. So like you could easily clip up like that part with like me talking about like these like million view videos. Yeah, and then we posted this and it got a million views. Like, that's a hook, low key. You feel me? So it's like, yeah, so I told him like, yeah, and then he posted this and it got a million views. I don't know if that makes sense how I explain it,
It makes
but like
sense.
you
Yeah,
could clip up like mid sentence and it's a hook, as long as like it's like an attention grabbing like part.
gotcha. Maybe we'll talk offline. Maybe you can help me make a couple
Yeah, I
videos or
definitely I
something.
definitely am more than
Yeah,
happy to. Yeah.
cool. All right. So I'm gonna circle back here a little bit to some of the real estate stuff. Because I am interested in it and I did want to talk about it. And a lot of people listening to this podcast are people in real estate. Okay, one last point. I will say one last point.
Okay.
So I don't, because I have a YouTube consultant I'm working with, and he's like, Tim, we should make videos. We should optimize for views. Let's try to get as many views as possible. And like you were saying, all right, well, let's don't call it a wholesaling video, call it a real estate video, or call it like even a self-help video, right? I mean, these are like videos that can really blow up if you don't have a
Yeah.
niche on it. But my goal isn't necessarily to optimize for views, it's to optimize for like future sales, you could say, So I want people interested in my niche, excuse me, who I can sell something to. I don't know what it'll be down the road, like tired wholesalers or whatever. So
Yeah.
I've struggled back and forth with that, but just speaking about the business model of social media, I think a lot of people try to get too many views, but then they don't have anything to sell. And I think like Brent Daniels, and maybe he doesn't have a 250,000 subscribers, but he probably makes a shit ton of money. He probably makes more money than these guys who have 500,000 subscribers,
100%.
right? So I guess it depends what you want, what your goal is.
Yeah, and I think like a big avenue generating that a lot of people don't realize for Brent Daniels is the affiliate marketing. Man, that dude's probably
Right?
making 6 figures a month just from Deal Machine affiliate,
I
and then
know.
like Prop Stream affiliate, he's making another. Like, dude, that guy's racking in money from those affiliates. Like, that's a big revenue generator for him. So yeah, I mean, I think just to relate that to like a further conversation, and then we can get into like more real estate stuff. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm posting, I don't have a course or mentorship to sell. Like, it's more just building the personal brand and putting it out there, like putting content out there. But I have the affiliates. So if you look in like my link tree, you'll see like all my affiliates there. Every once in a while, somebody clicks on them and uses them. I think the affiliate money generating is the best money generating, because that's as passive as it gets. Everybody talks about passive income, rentals, but you still have to manage tenants, you still have to manage Airbnb. Affiliate marketing, like, as long as they're paying like that's an automatic paycheck. You know what I mean? So it's a really good source of generating money too, if you are thinking about posting. Like, don't sleep on affiliates.
Yeah, I know every other video on real estate, wholesaling is a prop stream affiliate video that I
Yeah,
see.
because it pays well,
Uh,
bro. Pays well.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, that's good. If you have a product that is easily affiliatable, then that's a good business to be in because then it can grow really quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Okay, let me pull back here. I asked all my guests this question.
Okay.
You've done some deals now. You've had some experience a little bit before, you with your dad and whatnot. If someone put a gun to your head and said, Alec, you need to get a deal within 30 days or I'm going to kill you, what would you do? Guarantee to get a deal in 30 days.
Like a contract or like a close?
Like
Like I
a
have to get
contract, get a wholesale deal
okay.
under contract within 30 days.
I don't have my like VAs or anything. Like it's just me.
What would you do? Let's just say you don't have anything, but you can go get a VA or whatever. Like, what would you? It's by yourself.
Okay.
You've never done a
Let's
deal
just say I don't
before.
even have any VAs. Like it's just me.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I would probably just call realtors and try to get like a creative finance deal. Like if we're not niching it to wholesaling. I think right now I actually think right now it's easier to get creative finance deals if you know how to pitch it and you know what you're doing than it is to get wholesale deals if you know what you're doing. And this is coming from somebody that hasn't done a lot of creative finance deals. But I think it's easier. I think there's a bigger market opportunity for that. So what I would do is I would literally spend 8 hours a day just and like let's just assume I have prop stream at least. I would go on prop stream, set the filters, and this is the exact filters I've been doing, is on market, equity percentage like 10% or less. That's 20, maybe 20% or less, on market listed 30 days or more. And then I would just look through all of those like addresses. So I'd say like I put in the county, Miami-Dade County. I would look through all of those and just call every single realtor there. Pitch sub two. Most of them won't be interested. And then I would do that in every single county. And like I've been saying this to myself, and I haven't. It's more of like a time thing and like not having enough time to do it. But like I feel like if I genuinely sat down and just did this for a month straight for the rest of the month of March, like I think I would buy a house. Sub two, very little entry. So that's what I would do.
What
And
about for wholesaling?
hopefully it works. Yeah, with wholesaling, man, cold calling is tough now, to be honest. Like we're just all our numbers are getting tagged as spam. It's just that's been like the struggle I've been having. Texting is okay, but it's not that much better. So if you asked me a year ago, I would have said, drive for dollars and cold call. Now, I don't think I would say that. I think I would probably say calling realtors too. I think I would probably do that, and just lowball enough people, you would get a deal. If I didn't want to call realtors, then I would maybe door knock. Feel like that's a little bit more, putting yourself out there, door knocking some people with like no equity or foreclosures. But if not, driving for dollars, skip tracing a list and cold calling it. Like I think it still works. It's a little bit more competitive, but if you have a good driving for dollars list, like you can definitely do it. And I recommend people get into the business. So
Are
I
you
did
that
not answer your
confident?
question there, but
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, are you that confident in it that you wouldn't die? You wouldn't get your head blown off in 30 days? Would good driving for dollars would be
man, that's
your method to
tough.
do it?
That's tough. Um, Man, I don't even know, to be honest, because like I just feel like I have like all these systems in place and like all these VAs that like feel like now I'm like lazy. But I would probably say like if I didn't want to door knock, drive for dollars and cold call that list. I think that's still what I would do. I would just try to go into like maybe a less competitive market. If I really had to get a deal, like you're not saying like how much I need to make. So maybe go into a less competitive market, drive for dollars, cold call, and do that all day, every day. Like you would get a contract for sure.
What
You just
market
gotta
would you
stay
pick?
consistent with it. What's that?
What market would you pick, you think?
So like I wouldn't do like South Florida, for example.
It's like one of the hardest
You
markets in
know,
the country.
like I would probably go up to a smaller market, like maybe I don't know how familiar you are
Pensacola,
with like the Florida markets, but maybe like Ocala or like Lakeland or like Brevard County, even like
Gainesville.
Tampa. Gainesville is a perfect example. Yeah, Gainesville, Tallahassee. I would go into a smaller market that like these guys, like I know these guys are spending six figures a month. And I'd go into a market that these guys spending six figures a month aren't in as strong. So that's what I would do. I think you'd get a deal. Just drive you're not saying like maybe $5,000, but like it's a deal. So that's what I would do.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Yeah, I'm satisfied with that answer. Thank you.
Okay. Well, yeah,
So
that
talk
was
about
such a
you.
bad answer that
No, it was good. It was fine. It was fine. It's a hard question to answer. I mean, I don't
yeah.
even know how I asked everyone else the question, but I'm like, I don't even know what I would do necessarily.
Yeah.
It's tricky, but I always like to ask because I know because it helps me get the real answer of like what people would actually do, like for these people who are desperate. So
Yeah.
I know we got 15 minutes left, so I'm trying to I'm like speeding through. I'm like interrupting you. I'm just trying to get to some questions, but
No, you're
we'll
good,
do it
don't worry.
again. We're not going to get through everything, but that's okay. Okay, so you're talking about your team. You got VAs. You're spending 100 grand a year on payroll. I mean, what does your team look like? Like, what is? Can you just break down the kind of the anatomy of your business and your org chart and such?
Yeah, so last year I was going to, so last year my goal was to have a 7-figure wholesaling business. But a month or two into the year, I realized that's not my goal anymore because that's a lot of work.
Because it's
I
almost
was,
impossible.
yeah, so I was actually gonna go down the office route. I was gonna get an office. I was gonna get Americans, American acquisition people. I was gonna do the whole thing, and then I realized like I was interviewing Americans, and I realized, wow, like one, Americans are expensive. Two, Americans suck. Like they're just so lazy, and I'm lazy. Like I'm an American, I'm lazy. You know what I mean? So it's like, nah, I don't want to hire Americans. So I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna have VAs. I'm gonna have a very like lean business. So I just have 7 VAs. I have 3 that cold call. Uh, one of the cold callers is like half texting, like she oversees the texter. So she's like 50-50, but more so cold calling. So 3 cold callers, like 1.5 texters. And then I have 1 lead manager. So what she does is, once the cold callers call the leads and like they're qualified leads, they're like interested in selling, goes to my lead manager. She does follow-up, cold follow-up, a little bit warm follow-up, appointment setting, and then she sends it to me. I still do acquisition in my business. So maybe I make like 20 calls a day and it's like closings and stuff. I used to post a lot of those videos on my YouTube. Got kind of tired of doing that though. But if you look at my YouTube, you'll see it's like a lot of like cold calling content, mostly follow-up content, a lot of like closings and stuff. So those are the calls I would make, maybe spend like a couple hours a day like calling people. But that's like that, the main like lead generation side. I have an admin VA from India. All my other VAs are from the Philippines. I love Filipinos. Filipinos are the best. Like they really are.
Organized.
Yeah, and then I have my admin VA. He's from India, and he does like KPIs and like list management, organization, and then I have my accountant, bookkeeper, and stuff like that. But otherwise, like I'm still very hands-on in my business. Like I do acquisitions, I do dispositions, like I oversee everything. But like I don't mind it. I think a lot of people are like, scale out of your business, get out of your business as quick as possible. And it's like, man, like I can do that, but like I don't mind. you know like I don't mind doing acquisitions. Like I like closing, like I like sales. So it's like it's not fun, but like it's not like horrible. You feel
Right.
me?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like an oversight of my business.
It's also though, I mean, if you hired an acquisition person, I mean, wouldn't that would take all the rest of your profit out of your business too,
Yeah,
right?
right, like for like 10% plus like payroll, it's a
You'd be
salary.
at
Yeah,
zero, right? You'd be like
yeah.
netting zero in your
I'd be
business.
bankrupt. Yeah, and
So,
I gotta train them and stuff and hope they work hard.
and don't quit. And that
Mm,
acquisition turnover is one of the biggest problems because I work with a lot of, $1 million wholesalers. So they also do other things besides wholesaling, but
yeah.
usually the main consistent thing that they struggle with is acquisition manager turnover,
Oh
over and
yeah.
over again. It's like really, really tough. Just like
Yeah.
contractors for flipping, it's like,
Exactly. Yeah, there was a guy in Miami recently. I would say this story really quick because we're short on time. But there was a guy in Miami who had 7 acquisition guys, and all 7 of them left like the same day. They all said, "Fuck
what?
this guy."
To start their own business?
They all
Yes.
left to start their own businesses. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they weren't getting paid enough. So all of them left. So he had 0 acquisition people. He had to
What a
rehire,
nightmare.
and now he has 7 more competition. So do I, because I'm in the same market. So
Yeah.
7 more competitors. But
That's what happens, right? I mean, if you train someone and they're like, this guy isn't any smarter than me. I know how to do it now. I just need
yeah,
to do the
exactly.
marketing.
It's inevitable. It's
It's
inevitable. Yeah.
inevitable. So what do you
Filipinos aren't
do?
going to do that. Like
That's,
I love
that's
Filipinos, but they're not.
they're not going to do it. Yeah. So how much money do you like? How is it commission? Do you pay them or is it hourly? Like, what, $5 to $20 an hour? Like how do you pay your
Yeah.
VAs?
I pay my cold callers around that ballpark. Depending on how many deals they do and stuff. And then texts are a little bit less than that because it's a little bit easier, I think, because you're not talking to people on the phone. And then I do a commission of $200 per closed deal. So
Oh, cool.
I think it's a little bit high, to be honest. I'm like, man, like, especially if we're doing a lot of deals, like I'm paying $1,000 in commission this month. Like, it's a lot,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. I already committed to it. I can't change it now, you
I
know.
guess you could fire them and then hire new people.
Yeah, hire new ones, be like, hey, by the way, commission's 50 now. Like they
Yeah.
don't know. But yeah, I pay him well. I pay him well. And I've had, my first VA, I've had her for over 2 years now, which is insane to talk about, man. Time goes so fast. But yeah, I've had her over 2 years now. We recently hit our 2-year reunion. So
That is crazy. So what's the biggest challenge right now in your wholesaling business?
the biggest challenge is lead generation, and it's crazy because like I think a year ago, like I would say one thing I prided myself in was being like really good at cold calling, being really good at training cold calling and systematizing cold calling. Like that's what I'm like, yeah, I'm good at this. Like this is what I'm good at. Like my cold callers were fantastic. They were. And now it's like, man, like I don't know what's going on. But we're just like not getting as many leads. Like maybe a year ago, I was getting 3 to 5 leads per an agent a day. Now it's like maybe 1 to 2, maybe sometimes 0, and it's like, what's going on here? Like, is it these phone numbers being tagged as spam? Is it like I'm just not doing something correctly? Like, is it these dialers? Like, I don't know what it is. Is it the list quality? And I've been struggling with that a lot. And it's like my VAs are even complaining. They're like, hey, we're not talking to anybody, or when we do, they're not interested. Like we're just not getting leads. And like I feel like they think I'm gonna like fire them pretty soon. I'm like, no, like you guys are good. Like I promise. Like I love you guys. But like they message me a lot. They're like, hey, we're just not getting leads. We're not getting leads, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like I genuinely don't. Like I reset the phone numbers a lot. Like I put all these phone numbers into like the Verizon and T-Mobile phone tag spam. But I think that's been the main struggle I've been having is actually like lead generation, because once we get a lead, it's like we convert it. Like we're all good at sales, but that's been what we've been struggling with a little bit.
I should put you in touch with Nick. He runs cold calling agency, I think. And maybe he has, because he does it for a ton of different people. I'm not saying you should hire him or anything, but maybe he can give you some pointers about what they do. I don't know. Yeah, that's a tricky one, man. So what are you doing any other marketing right now for deals besides like social media? Obviously, are you doing any other paid
Yeah,
marketing?
social media. I'm big fan of Carrot. I know you have like a past, relationship with Carrot or
I
current.
do work at Carrot. Yep.
Yeah, love Carrot. I'm a big Carrot guy. I get like one deal every couple months from Carrot. Closed one a couple weeks ago in St. Pete, which is near like Tampa area. And that was like maybe a $13,000 deal. So that pays for Carrot for the whole year. um, but yeah, I mean, every once in a while I get Carrot. So SEO, cold calling, texting is our main lead generation. And then, me doing agent outreach is, starting to pick up a little bit. And then, referrals and, people sending me deals. So
Have you thought about doing paid marketing like direct mail, Google ads, Facebook ads?
yeah, so direct mail I've sent out a couple campaigns, and it just I know it's like, oh, you got to consistently do it. I just sent out like one campaign a few times and it didn't work. I'm like, ah, fuck this. Like I like more
Yeah.
like the active marketing than like the passive waiting to get phone calls. PPC I was close to doing a couple of times. There's a guy down here that does a lot of PPC. Like he has a PPC business. I don't know if you know him. Could tell you
What's
who
his
it is
name?
later.
Oh, you don't
um
want to share it? Okay.
it's up to you. I mean, I'll share it.
You can
But I
say
know
it.
you
Okay.
have your own PPC company.
It's fine. No, people know other companies exist. That's
Okay,
fine.
yeah.
It's all
Well, the
good.
guy, he's in Miami, Esteban.
Esteban Andrade.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Okay. Gotcha. You're doing Google ads with him? Or
No, I'm not. I'm not.
oh,
But
okay.
if I did, like, I'm boys with him. It's like he always like asks me and stuff.
Gotcha.
But
I work with him. So I know. Yeah, he's a good guy. So
yeah, I like Esteban. Yeah,
yeah.
he's having a real estate meetup in Colombia pretty soon, which is cool.
Yeah, he didn't
um
mention it. I was like, I'm not flying to Columbia, but that's pretty cool. Yeah. It's
Colombia
nice
is a
down
good
there.
time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it just I get it's I'm sure it works, but I never did it. No reasoning, just stuck
Not
to
there yet.
what I knew.
Gotcha. Well, before we wrap up here, well, we are wrapping up. So any final thoughts about anything I didn't ask you? We have to hop on another call because I want to talk about social media. I want to talk about more about your business. I'm bummed I have to end this early. So we'll definitely do this ASAP. But anything else, final last words you want to share for anyone listening to this?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, like, what's like the level of your audience? Is it
Yeah, good question, bro. I mean, honestly, I think it's probably more intermediate. I'm hoping it will be beginners, but I think it's mainly people who know me who are doing business. So
yeah.
let's just say for if you want to give advice maybe to anybody out there looking to
Yeah,
do
so I
this.
mean, I'll give like three levels of advice. If you're new, stay consistent with it. I think like the biggest thing is people like see these videos and it's like instant gratification. Like, why didn't I close the deal? I've been doing this. It took me 3 months. How long did it take you to get your first deal?
From when I first started doing wholesaling, it took me 4 years.
4 years to get your first deal?
When I started marketing, it took me like a year and a half. But
But like
from when I
when
first
you're
learned about
consistent with
wholesaling,
it,
yeah,
like when
it took me like from when I first started marketing consistently, it took me 9 months, I think.
9 months, that's crazy. Yeah, so that's one of the longer ones I've heard. Usually I hear around 5 6 months, sometimes 9 months. But yeah, I mean, if you're new, like, man, stay consistent. You hear Tim, it took him 9 months, it took me 3 months. I canceled my first contract, and I didn't know what I
Same.
was doing. So yeah, exactly. So stay consistent with it, it'll come. I think like the thing with that, how I kind of look at it is, I think like the people it takes longer, they build up like kind of like thicker skin, and I think it builds up more discipline where they have like a more like a desire to do it. Like if you can wait 9 months and consistently do this and you still haven't done your first deal, like, man, you're gonna kill it. You know what I mean? But then the guy who gets their first deal in a week and he's like, oh, this is easy, then like he's lazy, and like then now he only does like 4 deals like the whole year because like he peaked right there, where it's like you're building up this momentum. It's like an uphill, like you're like pushing it uphill, but as soon as you get the ball rolling, like there's a bigger mountain to go down. I don't even know, but stay consistent with it. It builds up like thicker skin, it builds up discipline, it builds like character traits that you're not seeing right now, but in the future you will. Like in those 3 months, like I learned a lot just because like I wanted this to get done. Intermediate people, my level, or around my level, figure out ways to adapt to this market. I know a lot of people are struggling. If you don't know, a lot of people are struggling. I'm telling you, a lot of people are struggling. Tim is telling you, a lot of people are struggling right now. So don't feel like, oh, I'm on this island, like my business isn't working. Like there's so many people leaving this industry. There's so many people in my local market that left this industry to go full time into coaching and education because it's an easier sale. Don't trust everybody you see online. Like all these people, just close this deal, just close this deal. Like that doesn't mean that they're making like that money. Maybe they only closed one deal for the past 2 months, but they just posted that one deal. So don't compare yourself to other people. Stay in your lane, adapt to the market. A lot of people are struggling right now. A lot of people are going to leave the business, but just means more market opportunity. If you're higher level, I guess my advice would be like, start posting on social media if you aren't. I think a lot of these higher level guys aren't posting on social media, and they should be, because you have so much knowledge that you could be sharing. If you want help with social media, I'm more than happy to help in any way. But you should be posting. If you are ready, that's awesome. I'm happy for you.
All right. You heard it, everybody. Alec Schaal, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. And we will put his social media in the description. And thanks, everybody. And we will have him on again soon. Thank you, Alec. Appreciate it.